products on what our customers' needs are, you know, what women need from beauty solutions, right? So maybe they need a primer that not only mattifies your skin, but you know, smooths out your pores, so we make professional. We don't really base our products on trends because we really want them to be able to last, you know, 20, 30 years. And then once we decide what kind of product we do, it basically takes us about 3 years to go through all of the shade and the formula and the component, yeah. So we really put a lot of time and energy into our products to make sure that we really get perfect everything for our customer.
And in terms of the names, it's just, there's never one person.
Yeah.
Like, I named this product. It's a whole very collaborative sort of, you know, it starts with like word association. We don't necessarily, I mean, I'm sure you've noticed, our products are not very, they're not boring names. And that's because we really want people to see the product and sort of have like an emotional, sort of, to build a story in their head about each particular product. So, you know, something like Posy Tint, we could have called it Pink Tint, but, or, you know, something bubblegum tint or something like that, but we really wanted to evoke a story in your mind. So when you think of posies, you think of sweet and a flower and springtime, so that's kind of, you know, it's more than just a color, it's a whole sort of world, a feeling.
It's really, honestly, a benefit. We base everything on our customers, which is why it's so important that, you know, we travel as much as we do, because we're a global brand and we want to make women all over the world happy, and we want to solve women's problems in India and, you know, here and in Australia and New York and LA. So it's really, traveling is super important because we do base everything that we do around our customer. You know, in our department, we never say, I think this will be good because, or I want it to be this shade. It's all about, you know, our customer really relates to this, or our customer is asking for this. And so we really put our customer first.
Our skincare is really going to be, it's going to be hot.
Yeah. You know, I think that customers come to benefit not just for makeup, they come for a full experience. You know, they want to have fun, they want to feel good, and they want to leave looking good. And as a brand, we want to be able to supply our customers with everything that they want. You know, we don't want them to come to us for, you know, that gal and some kind of gorgeous and Posy Tint, and then send them to, you know, La Mer for an eye cream. We want them to stay.
Right.
We want them to use our eye cream, and, you know, and we want them, you know, we just wanted to do kind of a new spin on skincare and give them, you know, the skincare in the benefit way. So I think that's really what our customers were asking for a long time.
And I mean, we definitely will still remain, the focus of, obviously, Benefit is cosmetics. So we also created our skincare line to support our color, to support the cosmetics, because a lot of the time, for instance, if you think about like an eye cream, like Annie was saying, you really can't, it's difficult sometimes to wear your eye cream during the day because it is so more heavy, more for nighttime, maybe a little bit more like, not, you know, greasy or oily, and our eye creams are such that you can wear Boing or a Race Paste right over it. So it's we like to call it like a prep step. And so we've created all of our skincare to be worn under makeup, because that's really the reality that most women are, you know, they don't have 2 separate sets and take a lot of time. I mean, we're really busy working modern women, and it's like, who has time for it? A bit of both. I think that obviously when Annie, from the minute we were both born, it was Benefit, you know, existed. I think that Jean and Jane created Benefit maybe 2 or 3 years before I was born. So we were both born into the brand, and we say it's sort of like our third sister. So we've grown up with as the brand's grown, we've grown. But I think that it was never a pressure. Jean and Jane never expected us to come to Benefit, and they never put any pressure on us. And I think we were saying yesterday that we think it was like their master plan. Yeah. You know, like reverse psychology.
It was never anything that was even brought up between the 4 of us. And, you know, Maggie is older than I am, so she had a job after college, and it wasn't until about 3.5 years ago when I was just graduating that Maggie called me and was, you know, she asked me, she was like, I think that I want to work for Benefit. And I always thought that I was going to go into, I wanted to be like an interior designer. I didn't I had no idea that I wanted to work with benefit. And then we started thinking about it, and it really seemed right. And you know, like Maggie said, I think that especially in a family business, you have to really want to do it because it is a big responsibility and it's a lot of work and a lot of pressure. But I think that, you know, neither Maggie or I could see ourselves anywhere else than at benefit.
I think it's really more of a, you know, we've been around benefit for our whole lives, but for a long time, especially when we were both in, you know, high school and college, we weren't, you know, when you move out of your home and you're on your own, I think that we know benefit from when it was a young brand, just when we were young, and now we're back into it full swing, and we have to learn. We have to learn what benefits become, just as a new person who joined the company would. You know, there's a lot of people that have been there for a lot longer than us working at the corporate office, and we learn from them too. But there is a legacy in terms of the Jean and Jane story and the family story that we want to continue.
It's not a pressure. I think it's more of a opportunity to be able to, you know, spread what our mom and aunt have created to the world. You know, we get this amazing opportunity to really travel, you know, to places like where we are today. And, you know, we get to come here and really meet with customers and meet with bloggers and editors and tell the story of what they've created. So it is, of course, you know, it takes a lot of time, and it's you know, it's what we do. And it's you know, it makes us super proud to be able to do
that. I think that's a good word, like proud, you know. As much as we're lucky enough to say, like, sometimes, you know, your job is your job and then you go home and that's your life. But for us, we feel like our job is our life, and it's the same thing. So it feels nice that we can also do it together as sisters. You know, we travel so much; it would be so lonely if we weren't together. And you know, the other night I went into her hotel room and like watched a movie on her computer. You know, so it's nice to have a person there to spend time with. I would, if that's what they want. You know, I mean, you know, like Annie said, if you, I would never want to resent having to do a job. And so if I have daughters or sons who want to be part of benefit, then absolutely, I'm sure I would be totally over the moon. But it's up to them. Yeah. So I live in New York, and I actually work from my apartment. We don't have a corporate office yet, hopefully, in New York. So I guess, you know, wake up. I'm lucky because I mostly get all of my work done, or a lot of my emails done in the morning before San Francisco wakes up. So I have some time to, you know, focus. And then I'm actually the account manager for the Home Shopping Network account, where Annie and I both go on down in Florida and sell benefit on the Home Shopping Network. Yeah, so I just am usually most of my time is taking care of the details for that business.
Yeah. And then I work in the San Francisco office with Erica. And, you know, I work in product development, so basically it's like any other office, you know, except for we get to play with like sparkles and pigments and test new products, and it's really fun. I think that you just can't take yourself too seriously. You know, benefit is all about having fun and just, you know, putting a smile on people's face, and I think that it's even, you know, our IT people who run the computers, who
finance,
you know, even our finance people, everyone has such a fun personality, and they don't take themselves too seriously, and that's why I think our environment in our corporate office is such a positive one, which is, you know, then trickles down into our products and then to our customers.
And it's also like, I think you have to really be very like a team player to work at benefit. It's never really about the individual, which is why, you know, takes a village to create one name for one product or one product. So I think if you just, you know, if you were saying, oh God, one day I want to work at the benefit office, what can I do? Just, you know, keep an open mind. Always be, you know, thinking of what will work on not just like you, but every woman, because, you know, we were saying yesterday that in our whole line we only have 200 products, and for a worldwide brand that's so so small.
Yeah.
And that 200 products can basically service women across the world. I mean, most brands that are color cosmetic brands have over 1,000. So we are able to really focus, and our products are just, we're able to tap into something in the women and say, like, this works for me and you no matter what country you live in. So it's really cool.
I think that Asian women, first of all, know everything that there is to know about beauty. You're sitting right in front of us, you definitely know beauty. And I think that, we, in my department at least, we hold every single standard to the Asian women standard at Benefit, because you have the highest standard of perfection, whether it's packaging, formula, component, which is so great because you push our brand to be, to just keep raising the bar to hit that level. But I do think that women all across the world, and I think it's the very same as, a woman in Korea and Singapore and here in San Francisco, that literally it's just the personality that every person around the world, I think, can relate to with Benefit. So that, I think, is very similar. You don't take yourself too seriously, you want to have a good time. Of course you want to look good and feel good, but I think that that's something that is kind of universal with our brand.
Like, our bestseller worldwide is the Bad Gal mascara, but for instance here, the #1 product is That Gal, which is the brightener. In the US, I think That Gal might be number 2. So it's just, and then in, some place like France, for instance, I think it's somewhere maybe number 2 or maybe number 3. So it's just such universal products.
Our top 10 products are basically, of course there's like 1 or 2 countries that has 1 or 2 things that are out, but our top 10 products are the same in every country. But at the same time, if we just came out with Benefit's BB cream, you all would be so disappointed in us. We would have to create something, that did something totally different and that, had a totally different name and a totally different texture, and so we may be working on it.